guys, welcome back to a safe space at home with the Manzinis. Today we meet the man behind the surname, Pastor Manzini, everything. So today we wanted to get to know you and get to know your background, particularly you raising your siblings, abantwana basegini. For a lot of South Africans, for a lot of black people, it's a norm.
Yes.
Your parents have children for you, basically.
Yes.
So we wanted to know how you grew up, or where you grew up, and how is it that you came to raise your siblings?
Okay. How I grew up in Pretoria. My mother and father, they got married somewhere in the plots here in Hartbees. And then by then I was conceived. And then after being conceived, my mother and father, they decided to take me to Leidenberg. It's in Mpumalanga, to my father's parents. So I grew up there, started school there, and then when I was growing up there, it turned out that now my grandparents wanted to keep me in Leidenberg, and my mother was already now working as a domestic worker in the white areas. They call it Miro, Fifafi, washing, cleaning and stuff like that. So now as time went by, I will hardly see my mother. I remember there was some time when I would spend the whole year without seeing my mother. And then when I'll see her, maybe sometimes it will be once a year. But then I didn't understand the setup. My father will come also once in 3 months or so. So they were absent actually. So as it went, now things started to happen also in my grandparents' place. In short, my grandfather was naughty. And as it go, I wouldn't be left to go and play with other kids. I would play alone in the yard. It was more like a prison kind of a setup. You go to school, you come back, you stay in the yard. And then there are some things that you experience, you can't tell anyone, you can't, even ask questions, because everything, they just went like, yeah, listen, you're a child, this is how it is. So it happened that one day when I came for holidays, I insisted actually to come and see my mother for holidays. So when I came for holidays, right there and then, me and my mother, I told my mother everything that particular day when I arrived in Pretoria, that there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 that is happening and what. So my mom was like, what? I'm like, yeah, and this is just the tip of an iceberg, there's more. So she decided there and then to keep me in Pretoria, and then that's how I came to Pretoria. And when I came to Pretoria, by then there was I had a younger sister, a younger sister, the one who came after me. And then that's how we went. And then I remember when I came, I was doing great. Again, standard 2. I did grade 4. Yeah, so Negel standard 2. So when I was in standard 2, then shortly afterwards, me refusing to go back, my mother told me that Nale Papaka, they are divorcing. But I couldn't understand, because when my father is around, they will be happy, they will be holding hands, hugging, kissing. But then all of a sudden they are divorcing. Okay, fine. I just took it. Okay, maybe it's part of, or maybe they're taking a break or something like that. And then the third born came. And then there was, as time went, there was a fourth one, and then in total we end up being 5. So me and the one that comes after me, we are from the same father. And then there's a third born, one Alam Papa High, and then the fourth Leon Alam Papa High, the 5th. Yes, so all of these other siblings whom their fathers also are different, but their fathers were never like there full time. They will be there, they disappear there. So I started to look after my siblings then, because where my grandmother I grew up, she used to teach me a lot of things. So I've learned to cook, to clean, to wash after myself. Yes, then yeah. So I was, I
You
was
shoved into it.
yeah, I was shoved into it. Yes, and then but I loved all my siblings. I never took them like this one now from a different father or whatever. No, I love them equally. I laid my life, my life for them. I never had a childhood thing. I was a parent just right away.
So then how do you think that affected how you raise your kids now? Because you have a son who's your firstborn and you are a firstborn son, and you have a daughter. How has your mentality been with raising them? Are you raising them with that thing that you must take care of each other, or are you raising them with be successful, do your own thing, and?
Yes, with my kids, I'm more of, I always tell them, I'm trying to instill that also in them, that they need to take care of each other. They need to love one another. But also I'm also trying to find out their dreams. Like my firstborn, he's fascinated with planes. I take him more to that, and I instill that. I'm supporting him in the dream that he wants to pursue, as well as also the young one. So she likes ballet, and yeah, so I'm encouraging that, because there's a lot of things that I would have loved to accomplish, but there was no one. No one will come and ask you, how are you feeling, how are you doing, what is it that you want to become, or you want to achieve. So there was no time like for that. Yes, like even with the studies, when I was in matric, my mom, nearly it happened that even in my schooling years, my mother never attended even one meeting. The only time she came to school, it was when I was in matric, and also they were forced also to come. That's the only time she came. In all my schooling years, she only attended one meeting when I was in matric, and that is bad. And when I finished school, my peers, they would go like, yeah, me, I'm going to TUT. Yeah. This one was like, I'm going to UNISA. And to me, my mom just told me that, you know what, after this, you just have to make a plan, because they are siblings.
Your responsibility.
Your responsibility. So yeah, and even during my schooling, I think I was in grade 9. I was already working in the hair salon. I was washing cars, and in that also, there's nothing that motivates you that, there's life beyond this.
Yes.
Because, when there's no meal, they tell you, yeah, there's nothing. So you need to come up with a plan. For pocket money, I have to make my own pocket money. Yeah. To get your shoes, school shoes fixed, you have to make a plan. And I thank God that, the way God designed things, is so amazing. I wear one size shoe from standard 5 until matric.
Sure.
And my mother, I wore one pants from standard 5 to matric. I wore one, I think there were 2 shirts from standard 5 until matric. School bag, what do you call it there? Yeah. School bag, I was donated with one. I had that one until matric, and yeah, it was more like a norm. But that is one thing that I don't want to happen to my kids. I want them to enjoy. I want them to just be themselves. If they can change tomorrow and say, no, now I'm taking this path, I just want to be there for them. But with me, it was not the case. It was just like, they will never even ask you, even that you passed, how is it, are you studying? No, they'll just tell you, do this, do this, do this, do this. Okay, I'll be away my mother was a traveler. She'll always be on the road. For what reason, I don't know. But yeah, and I have to be the father by then, because she was a single parent.
Sure.
Yeah.
So with how you've turned out, it's quite intriguing, really, knowing the background and where you come from. What would you say helped you to become who you are today? Because for a lot of black kids, the goal is to get out of home. It's to leave home and leave all of the burdens behind.
Yes, to be honest, Millie, is that that thought also it has crossed my mind several times when I'll think of of just disappearing. And me at my father's side, they loved me. In spite of all the upbringing that was tough and was strict, but they loved me. I remember at one point they even bought a buggy for me, a 1400 buggy. That if you come, here's the buggy. And I knew my father by then had 3 cars, so I would have gotten myself a car and I would be taken care of. But when I looked at the situation also with my mother, it was bad. So the only thing that sustained me, Emily, it's God. It's God. I can say it's just God. There's nothing else. Nobody can even take credit of that. It was just God, that, but in God doesn't choose when he get to you.
Yeah.
So me, only God got to me. I had more compassion of my siblings, that even if I run away, what will happen to them? I love them. I put them first in everything, in all the decisions that I would have taken. I remember that there were times when I was molested several times by the people that my mother used to bring with, because my mother used to club a lot, and she used to be surrounded by a lot of people. So there will be things that happen, but nobody will even see what you're going through. And then when I looked back, I realized that also the one that comes after me, she's a girl, and then there's a boy, then there's another girl. Then I'll look, I'm like, yo, if I go here, what will happen? Okay, me, maybe I'm stronger, but to them, will they survive this? So I stayed there because of the love that I had for them. But it was not easy. It was not easy. As you go through this thing, then you realize that there was some injustice done to me. But at the end of the day, we have God, who is a father to the fatherless, who is a comforter in all of these situations.
So how do you then tell the woman that you're supposed to be getting married to that, listen, I have 4 kids, none of them are yours?
Oh, meaning my siblings?
Yes.
Yeah, really, to tell you the truth, that was something. That was another mountain to climb. It was not easy. I remember we, bringing my wife into my life, and then her meeting this situation. It was not easy, because all of these people, they were just looking at me, depending on me. But God blessed me with such a God-fearing woman, the woman who loved me in spite of everything. You will think that maybe we were born from the same village, or maybe we are childhood sweetheart, we grew up together and everything. And it was worse because of I had these 4 siblings when we got married. And my mother took in, there were 2 guys that she took. One was a pastor, one was a musician, and then the other one was, actually there were 2 of my late aunt's children. So you can imagine, it was just full house. And by then now, when I brought my wife, it was like I brought in,
the stop nonsense.
The stop nonsense. Yes, stop nonsense. You can say that, yes. So, it was never easy. I thought it will be a smooth sailing, but it was very, very rocky, yes.
And how are the siblings now? How's everyone doing?
Mainly my life now with my siblings is that it's not nice, whereby they are used to being spoiled. They are used to me doing things for them, even though now they are well grown up. I mean, my younger sister, the one that comes after me, she's almost she's going to her 40s. The one that comes after her, she is in his 30s. So I mean, can you imagine? They are old, but you know, because of I did so much for them. You know, I was even counting that, you know, when I got married, when I left home, I was actually 31. So I spent all my life until 31, you know, looking after these big people, whom even when they are working, they are not contributing. They are used to me covering all the costs. I'll pay the rates and tax. I'll do even the house that they're living in. I'm the one who extended it, also through the help of my wife, also telling me that no, let us do this for my mother, you know, that she had a comfortable place and everything. But you know, in spite of that, Millie, they don't there's it's never enough. You know, they still expect you know, even though now you are at your own place, they are in a comfortable, no, they still expect you to do something. There'll be a saying of, you know, he's not helping us with anything. And then I'll check, but what do they want me to do now? Must I offer my life, you know, as a living sacrifice? Then they will see how much so my life with them, it's still that thing of, they still see my wife as like, because of him, maybe he's not. Yes, sure, that's it.
And lastly, what would you say to someone who finds themselves in your situation, having to raise their siblings without being given any choice?
What I can tell them is that, you know what, guys, I think everything, it has a time frame. I think also, I can say I made a mistake. I don't know what can I say. I made a mistake or what, that I overstayed.
Okay.
Yes, because of, there are some things you must do them, but to a certain level, then you cut, so that people must start now to stand on their own.
Yes.
I like the narrative of an eagle. They say the female eagle, when she sees that the chicks now are ready to fly, she starts destroying the nest.
Okay.
She will destroy the nest. She will destroy the nest, and she doesn't start by going like, no, let me train them to fly one by one. No, she will destroy the nest, and then on standby it will be the father eagle that who will stand guard. And then when the eagle is the nest is destroyed, and these baby eagles are trying to fly, if maybe they're still struggling, and the father eagle will be the one that catch them, and then he'll be sacrificing that. But the mother eagle won't be doing that, because when she destroyed the nest, she knows that these babies are willing. They are able actually to fly on their own. So I think also with my siblings, I overstayed, I over cared, I over supported them. That's why even now they're still behaving the way they are behaving. Also with my mother, I've been there more than anyone else. I've stand there. My mother at the moment, Millie, you know, it's been quite a while I left home, but you know, she can't even relate to my siblings. Why? Because of she was absent. Even though she was present, but she was absent. She doesn't know them, and you know, she expects things just to happen like that. But you know, she have to start, you know, to study them. To study them and know them, but now I think also the time is not on her side, and she's in a hurry that, you know, if I say I'm sorry for not being there, then they'll understand. So to them now they need explanations that, you know, get to know each other. And so my relationship with my family at the moment, it's still a touch and go, but you know what, time has come that I must go. But I think I did some injustice of overstaying there at my parents' place, and I'll tell somebody that, you know what, know the limits. You know, when my siblings were still in primary, I thought, no, let me be there, let me teach them, but I stayed there until they went to high school, until some even finished matric, and so that was injustice because now they are so comfortable.
Yeah.
Everything is here. What is the point of working? So yeah, that is an injustice that one can do, but know the time. Don't overstay. Be there, but you know, because the more you overstay as well, also they'll resent you when you are no longer around now, because they are used to you having you around and having their back all the way. Meanwhile, now you have to venture into another life where you are taking care of your own kids and family. Yes.
Know when to stop. Thank you so much for sharing your story, Pastor Manzini. We'll touch back on a Snake Park overrun. There's a story about Snake Park, and we'll come back to that. Please like, share, and subscribe. Don't forget to comment. Tell your cousin, tell their cousin, tell their friend, and tell everybody, spread the word for this channel so we can get it to the whole world.
Thank you very much.